We'll have to talk more later, but for now, let's just focus on surviving, yeah?
Lost in Random extols the ups and downs that come with competition as you try to rescue your sister by battling your way through a twisted world of ghostly games. It's an animated action-adventure with bits of strategy and deck building in a world bursting with personality. It doesn't excel in all of its best ideas, but its story has plenty of humor and heart.
This was OneCraft, the world in which Even and her small family lived.
Like the sides of dice, this world exists in 6 parts. Hailing from OneCraft, the main character Even flees home in search of her sister Odd, who's suddenly summoned by a wicked queen. Upon discovering a stack of cards in her own dice named Dicey, Even gains spectacular powers and launches a rescue. Each district she battles through has its own set of quirks that define it. Two Town struggles with dual identity shifts prompted by the evil queen's black dice, and Threedom is crushed beneath the weight of 3 massive robots that wage a daily war of chance. The spooky mood is maintained by composer Blake Robinson and a cast that definitely gets absorbed into the world. Sadly, only a quarter of the scenes are fully animated, so most of the dialogue doesn't match with each character's lips or their body language. For all the work done to pull the player into this fascinating world, it's a bummer that this last detail gets in the way.
Old Medidex is going to give you a lovely binder to hold your cards in, on the house. We'll just need to teach you how to use it.
With the locals feeling a bit rigid, some talks go on longer than they should, and neither the script nor their performances can balance things out. You get to pick Even's dialogue, but not hear those lines, and none of her choices change the story. Thankfully, the characters themselves are pleasantly weird, with both obvious inspirations and far-out new ideas. Cheerful new friends like the ever-assured Seymour, and even the cozy narrator working behind the scenes, have surprising emotional depth, momentarily elevating the storytelling. The rough parts of the presentation prevent even more of these connections to be made, but each district has enough charm to make the visits worthwhile.
Leave, and return only when you can greet me properly.
A ton of work has gone into what makes these neighborhoods tick, and it's amusing to step inside them and piece together the where and why. Lost in Random is mostly linear, but there are detours and hidden passages as well as side quests that are easy to miss if you don't talk to each stranger along the path. There are breakable jars you can crack and small doors Dicey can squeeze into for added coin, and while amassing a fortune isn't necessary, it's still easy to obsess over clearing each zone when you spot jars on the edges of rooftops. These serve as nice incentives to explore, but they can also become an eyesore when you just want to enjoy the view. Completionists might fret as each new area blocks you off from any previously incomplete quests or unobtained collectibles, but without having to worry about jumping, finding everything in each part of Random isn't too bad for those who are looking.
It was the Queen's royal robot cards. She had to think fast. She had to roll the dice.
When it's time to fight, Dicey can spit out and activate up to 5 cards per turn. Until a card equips you with a ranged or melee weapon, there's initially nothing you can do to damage enemies. You need to collect crystals by shooting enemies in a specific spot or dodging at the right time, which slowly draws your next hand. Then you throw Dicey, rolling to determine how much energy you have to play your available cards. There's a slow burn to combat that has its payoffs, such as when you have enemies caught in a slowing bubble as you fire a volley of bomb arrows at them, but it can also drag when things start to become predictable. You can have 15 cards in your deck, with more appearing through quests or purchased from a talking card shop named Manny. The later cards have unmistakable flair, but aren't as devastating to use as some of the basic tricks you get early on. So there's lots of room to experiment with different decks, but little incentive to invest in acquiring rare cards. Still, fights can be a kick. Throwing Dicey pauses the world around you, letting you place bombs or turrets and take a breath before combat resumes. Freezing time even when you don't have any interesting cards to play always gives Even an enjoyable advantage. So as you see your hand come together and your mind splits between managing attacks or dodges and when best to roll the dice, Lost in Random feels like few other games. This makes it all the more frustrating that there's no New Game Plus option, or separate modes to keep training and fighting. When you finish the story, the only way to try combat again is to start a new save file and work your way through a bunch of cutscenes. One of Lost in Random's best qualities is its gothic goofiness. Developer Zoink Games is committed to a visual style that's cozy, quirky, and sometimes alarmingly dark. Despite leaning on browns and purples a little too heavily, some of the environments are a real delight to walk through. It's tough to pinpoint exactly what age range the game is intended for, but key performances from Even and the narrator still hold the themes together.
We finish each other's sentences. We double each other's happiness. We share each other's husbands. We multiply each other's... Wait, what? What?
As our minds turn toward more haunted holidays, it's a good time to get lost in random. Even's commitment to her quest is enough to carry you through an awkwardly told story, and despite some parts of combat that feel too dependent on luck, the card dice fights are truly unique. The pace of the journey, from drawn-out conversations to endings that cut you off from the best parts, befoul what is otherwise a fun world to explore. Final score, 7.5 out of 10. Easy Allies reviews are made possible by generous viewers just like you. If you like what you see, check out patreon.com/easyallies to help us make more. For just $1 a month, you can gain access to weekly updates, spoiler discussions, and exclusive shows.